What's up, sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I say it every week, and I'll continue to say it. I am not Pez. I'm not making these picks. I'm Jeff Hartman. I'm co-hosting this show. The captain of this ship is Mr. Pez himself. What's up, Pez? How's it going?
Happy New Year, my friend. Another solid week. I think we're on an 11-2 run going into 2024. Can't ask for more than that, except, my birds looking a little out of gas. But aside from that, we're rolling. We're going into 2024 winners. We're going to end it winners.
Yeah, even with some disappointing outcomes last week, which we'll talk about all those, still a really solid showing, 2-1 for both the NCAA and NFL last week, and they're not easy picks. And, let's start off with your birds. Let's just start there. That was disappointing on all fronts. I'm watching that game. The offense does not look good. The defense, when it mattered the most with the lead, to give up that drive by Kyler Murray and James Conner punching it in, had to be a gut punch for the Bird fans all over the place. Thankfully, we're not picking the Birds this week. I got to be honest there, Pez. I do not like the way the Eagles are trending heading into the playoffs.
Well, it's something about losing in the Super Bowl. I mean, you see it a lot in this league. That team is worn out. They're beat up. I mean, they went when you get to the Super Bowl and you lose. I think the Bills had a little bit of start in the season. You show up the next season a little bit out of gas, a little bit beat up, and it's just gotten worse for the Eagles. The rumors around Philly this week, they might be sitting all the starters. I think 2 weeks ago the line against the Giants was 13.5. This week I think we're at 4.5 right now. So I think Vegas is picking up on some of these whispers that Jalen might sit. I think that D line, you've got veterans and you got rookies, and both of them need a break. The D line's got no gas left. The O line's old. They could use a week off. If they announced already that all the backups were playing, we might have taken a look at them. I think Mariota, a little juice might help that team. I hope they do it, Jeff. I think they're at about a 12% chance of the Cowboys losing and them winning and taking the division. But if they do take this week off, I'm going to get back on board with those Birds. I think a bye week would be more beneficial than even a home game, Jeff. And that's something that some people agree with around here, some don't. I think if they lose this week and they're locked in with Tampa or New Orleans or whoever they'd play in that crappy division, that's probably the easiest way to get through that first round. A home game against maybe Green Bay or a tougher opponent, I'd like to go the other way with the Birds and kind of stay where they're at, and a week off, be a 2-week break for Jalen and those guys, and they could use it.
Well, yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough because you talk about resting players, and that's going to be a common theme when we talk about the National Football League, because in Week 18, there's already been announcements that Lamar Jackson's not going to play in Baltimore against Pittsburgh. It's going to be Tyler Huntley. Christian McCaffrey's not going to be playing for the San Francisco 49ers, and rightfully so. It makes no sense. Both of those teams, the 49ers and Ravens, have locked up the number one seeds. They have nothing to play for. They're literally just putting themselves at risk. But the Eagles, there's a part of me that feels like they need to go out there and perform at somewhat of a decent level. I'm shocked. Let me put it this way. I'm shocked they're not treating it like a preseason game. Jalen, you're going to dress. You're going to go out there. You're going to play a couple series, hopefully move the ball down the field. Okay, take the rest of the day off, rest your legs, whatever's injuring or ailing him at this point. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, if it was a different kind of team, I'd agree with that. Birds lit it up all year last year. This team knows they can do it. They started the year off hot. I mean, things have been a little bumpy. We've had some coaching changes. I think, when you look at the numbers of teams with bye weeks, that bye week at the end of the year is a huge benefit mentally, physically. Sirianni, the last 2 days, he said it on a local radio show, 94.1 yesterday. They're still talking about it. And to me, that's signaling that they're going to do this. I like the play. I think that you take a little pressure off of them. Playing a division opponent, no matter who they are, is tough. And playing in Giant Stadium, it's an injury haven. That turf where Jimmy Hoffa's buried under and who knows who else. I mean, I watched The Sopranos, Jeff. They buried a lot of bodies in those Meadowlands. So I don't like playing over dead bodies. And, when you're playing a team with nothing to lose, they're going to go out and they're going to take some shots. Yeah. So I would not trust Jalen. I wouldn't even want him at the game. Let him stay home. The guy's been sick. I think there's some sort of bug going around the team. Devontae Smith is on crutches. He's in an ankle brace. I know Lane Johnson's hurt. I know Kelsey's hurt. And the D-line is gassed. I mean, they're just completely gassed. Our linebacking core, I don't even know if we have one at this point. Big play Darius Slay needs another week off, and I think it would benefit him
Okay.
more than playing and more than getting back on track. I think this team knows how to win. I mean, they've proven that Jalen's a winner, and I hope they do it. I do.
Okay. The other two games that we bet on last week were both winners. They came out on the right side for us. The Falcons at the Bears. The Bears were spotting 3. They were fine. Justin Fields is starting to look like the quarterback we all thought he could be. When he gets a weapon like DJ Moore, he's still able to run the ball. Pez, the Bears, they pull it out for you.
Love that Bears win, Jeff. And I like Fields. I think they're in a tough situation, that team, because they could be the number 1 pick. We've got some great quarterbacks out there, Mike Penix Jr., you got Bo Nix, you got the guy from USC. I'm hearing rumors someone's offering him first-round picks now for Fields. Good team, home team, playing there. I think that was one of those situations you have a dome team going north, playing in the weather, and that was a solid win for the Bears. And I think the Bears are going to give the Green Bay a tough game this week too.
Yeah, and speaking of the Packers, that was the other game that we took. Packers at Vikings, and the Packers, they were getting 2 points on the road. Didn't even need it. This was a pretty dominant performance. The Vikings had no answer at quarterback. Jordan Love looked good, and the Packers win and they cover.
Well, my buddies, a couple comrades in arms, gambling comrades I have around here. We talk about it a lot. This year, the Green Bay rule is don't bet them 2 weeks in a row. That's a roller coaster team.
Yep.
When you get away with the win with them, you thank them and you move on for a week. I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago ruins their party this week. That's a tough divisional game. They know each other. You got 2 young quarterbacks. Green Bay's defense is suspect, and they're not playing Minnesota again this week. They're playing an offense that's moving. Fields can beat you. Fields is one of those guys with a hot game. He could Mahomes you, that guy. I like him. Chicago was ready to turn the page on him. I don't know. They're in a tough situation now with that guy.
Yeah, they're set up for some success, though, if they play their cards right. We'll see. So we finished 2-1 in the National Football League, and then we go to college. So we took 3 games last week in the college realm. We had the libido play of the week, which is your Arizona Wildcats versus the Oklahoma Sooners. Arizona giving 2. Arizona pulls it out. They win straight up.
I mean, my wife's hot, Jeff. She's hot. She's hot physically. She's hot at picking these games. That Arizona game, those guys, that's a solid team. They were having fun in that game.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big start to the week. Kicking myself we didn't take a couple other of these games, Oregon and a couple others, but it's tough. You don't know who's going to play. You might have players in this portal, and guys are sitting out now just because they want to go in the draft. We never used to see that kind of stuff. So I'm happy that we got through bowl season. We did pretty darn good in this bowl season with a lot of these variables going around here. And yeah, Arizona was solid. Our next game, I think we're talking Michigan, and we're going to talk Alabama, if I'm correct. Got a great old friend, one of my best friends. A lot of gambling stories and runs with him all across North and South America with this guy. He goes by the Yogi. He had a great line this week. Alabama was the right team, but the wrong result, and I still stand by that. I think Saban proved at halftime, still the best coach in the country. I mean, that game turned on a dime. I cannot believe that we had 3 missed snaps in the most pressure time of the game with Alabama. Probably, first-round draft pick, their center, and the guy throws the ball on the ground 3 times, and it probably cost them the game.
Yeah.
I think Michigan snuck one out there, and, good for them. They were very obnoxious after the win, and we're going to be talking about that soon, Jeff, when we're coming up on our picks this week.
Yeah, so to let the listeners in on a little bit of information here. So we have someone at Fans First Sports Network who does all the social media stuff for us and gets the clips from shows and puts them on different platforms. And we had an Instagram reel of Pez taking Alabama over Michigan, and boy, did this thing light up. I mean, almost 75, well over 75,000 views on our Instagram feed, but also just comment after comment. The Alabama Crimson Tide fans early on saying, yes, roll Tide. After the game, people coming back to this post, they saved it and said, yeah, whatever, go blue, Michigan. Yeah, Bama doesn't do it. They didn't get it. I cannot believe that in crunch time with the game on the line, the defense could not get a stop. Michigan driving straight down the field and sending it to overtime just was I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe
Well,
it.
they had a lucky play. They threw a ball that the kid from Hawaii, I can't think of his name, Roman, something on Michigan receiver, came up with a huge catch. I think that ball was going to a guy that was deeper down the field. Probably looked like it was going to get picked. They got lucky to start the game, Michigan. What's up with the NFL? The NCAA. They review every play. That first interception, what is this? They don't even have to throw a flag in the NCAA, Jeff. It's a bunch of BS there. I think if Alabama takes that ball and scores, that game's over. Having said that, Michigan looked good. Defense is good. We'll be talking about them, though. We'll see. I got a feeling, Jeff, that Harbaugh is gone. Some friends and I were talking. I don't think you get suspended mid-season 3 games for just having some graduate assistant iPhone taping games. I think there's a lot of other fire behind that smoke. I think this is it for this guy. He looked relieved that he won that Rose Bowl game. I wouldn't be shocked to see him on the sidelines in New England, maybe Seattle, maybe Washington. That would not shock me. And that guy, he was a little bit speechless after the game, and usually that guy's got a lot to say with his big mouth. So we'll see, and I don't know. I think we'll be talking about him in a couple minutes.
Yeah, we will. Let's go to the other game we took in the college football playoffs. So we lose the Alabama bet, but we win the Washington bet. Penix Jr. absolutely looking phenomenal. The young quarterback, gunslinger, lefty, he was doing everything under the sun in this game. And he made, boy, the tape that he put out there for college or for NFL scouts was something else. Penix Jr. does the thing. The Washington Huskies win and advance to the national championship coming up. Washington was getting 4 points, and we said we'll take Washington and the points all day, all night. They pull it out.
Love outright dog winners, Jeff. I mean, that just sticks it to the books and makes them question what they're doing setting these lines. Mike Penix Jr., my favorite quarterback in the college game all year. Guy's got an unbelievable ball. A guy that reads the field and has NFL football smarts already. And a winner. 21 straight wins. Best friend from high school is his top receiver. I know the running back's a little dinged up. That might hurt him this week, but they were fantastic. That game was amazing. Defense played big. They've got a solid linebacker that maybe is best in the country. I think he probably should have won the Butkus Award, and I think the Heisman should have gone to Mike Penix Jr. That team's playing with a chip on their shoulder, and they showed it. And, Texas, much bigger program, much bigger deal. Football, there's 2 things they care about in Texas, the Alamo and football. And that, for them losing that game, I mean, that's like an unbelievable victory for Washington in that Pac-12. I mean, a fantastic result, and I'm happy for that kid.
No, absolutely agree with you. And again, we've been saying this in multiple occasions with Washington this season. We've bet them a lot this year against Oregon twice, and every time they're getting points. And we're thinking, wow, like what does this team have to do? So let's fast forward now. The NCAA National Championship, the next game we're going to be picking, which, by the way, after the 2-1 finish last week, NCAA 18-11-2 this season with one game left on the docket. You absolutely will take that. Washington, again, getting 4.5 points against Michigan. And Pez, you're saying take the Huskies. You're not a believer in Michigan.
Well, I like Michigan. Having said that, I don't think Alabama was better than Georgia. I think Saban had a game plan and won that game and with an inferior team. I don't think Michigan beat the best team out of those 4 teams. I think Michigan beat the worst out of those 4 teams with the best coach. So I have suspicions about how Michigan's defense is going to do against an NFL quarterback. They didn't really face many NFL quarterbacks. They shut down an NFL receiver with Marvin Harrison Jr. But if you look at their schedule, they haven't faced a powerhouse offense like this yet and beaten them. So I have question marks about how they're going to do that. I mean, they've got a couple good corners. Their D line's obviously good. Washington, creative offense. I mean, Michigan's going to have to put up 30-some points. I mean, you're not stopping Mike Penix Jr. That guy's on a mission. I have questions about Michigan's offense. Quarterback's a little bit loose with that ball. That ball comes out at different velocities. I mean, he's a little bit trigger happy with that. And Washington, they just seem like a team that they're on a magical run right now. 21 straight wins. How could you not take 4.5 points? I think that line's going to go up. I would wait to bet on that. I wouldn't be shocked by Monday if that's at 5.5 points.
Really?
I can see it happening. Michigan's got a way bigger fan base. I mean, you saw it with the posting, all those loudmouths coming at me, telling me I didn't know about the blue. And I think that Washington, they let everybody know, beating that Texas team in the way they did, that they're for real. And I think the Pac-12 was better than people gave them this year. I think Oregon was a better team. I think USC, I think Arizona, those Utah, even those teams were good this year. And I think Washington is on a mission. I think Mike Penix Jr., that guy, I think did 2 years in Indiana, blew his ACL out twice. I think he had an Achilles injury. 6 years senior, kid's mature. I like watching a lefty quarterback, Jeff. It looks weird. I like watching it. His ball is tight. He reminds me of C.J. Stroud. And I think when you have a smart quarterback out there at the college level, he looks composed. And I'm excited to watch that game. But we are going with the Huskies, and I can't wait to watch them win that game. I just can't wait.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that you think this line's going to climb. If I thought anything, it would come back down closer to a pick'em game based on where the money's going. But you're right, Michigan, that's a much larger fan base. There's probably a lot of people putting money down on them, and they want to try to even out the money. But yeah, Washington plus 4.5, I think that's a safe bet. And if
Love it.
anything, I think it's going to be a close game. So even if it's only a field goal, you're still safe because you're getting 4.5.
Well, think about after the game, Jeff. Michigan, they celebrated like they won the national championship.
Yeah, they did.
Quarterback coming around with the stupid rose in his mouth. Harbaugh up there smiling. I try to watch how long the coach holds the trophy. That guy didn't want to let that trophy go, Jeff. It's all about him, all about that stupid who's got it better than us saying. That guy's going down. I think he's leaving that team. I think he's destined for the NFL. You don't get suspended 3 games, Jeff, for taping with a graduate assistant. So
Yeah.
I think there's some more action that's going to be coming out about that guy. NCAA's, I think Washington Huskies are going to be the purple powerhouse on Monday night. I can't wait to watch them.
All right, we will see. But in the NFL game, we're just getting revved up. Week 18 is here, but what a difficult week to gamble. We already mentioned players like Lamar Jackson. He's not playing. Christian McCaffrey, not playing. Patrick Mahomes, I believe, is not playing because they've already locked up the AFC West. They can't move anywhere. They're stuck where they are. So, Pez, what I liked about your picks this week, which, by the way, your NFL record heading into the week 18, 39, 26, and 2.
Love it.
Really, really good stuff there. But you picked games that mattered. These teams have to win. And so you're getting the best of it.
I mean, Jeff, you look at the standings in the league right now. You got multiple division championships up for grabs. You got like you said, a couple division championships are already, put to bed. I still think the Birds are going to be sitting some guys. So it's last week of the season's a minefield. With teams that are out of it, you don't know if they're going to show up and they're going to roll over. Tennessee is one of those teams I'm thinking about. Derrick Henry, is he going to play? I mean, I can't imagine putting that guy out there. A veteran that's a potential Hall of Famer. I don't think I risk getting an ACL blowout if I was him and that team. It's a minefield. You got to really be careful. I know our show's coming out midweek. Usually on these NFL last week games, you wait till Sunday morning. You really wait till the last announcements, and you get stuff and you get the lines. The lines are going to change big time. A lot of these lines came out early. That the Vegas knew Baltimore. They knew that guy wasn't playing. I mean that wasn't announced.
Right.
Sirianni the last 2 days with the Eagles, he's mentioned that he might sit the guys. That line's down to 4.5. 2 weeks ago it was 13.5. So I think you got to tread lightly this week. You got to wait and do your homework. I'd be very cautious putting in early bets because who knows? I mean, there might be teams that show up and last game of the season, I think Carolina might have a big game. They got nothing to lose, right? I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Atlanta and teams like that are gunning for the playoffs. I mean, they're going to play hard, you'd think, but sometimes pressure gets to these guys. So it's a tough week.
Well, let's start off. You mentioned Derrick Henry. You're taking the Jaguars and the Titans game. You're picking that game. The Jaguars are giving 5.5 on the road against the Titans. Don't think Will Levis is going to be available. I think it's going to be Ryan Tannehill most likely. You mentioned now if they're going to rest anybody. I do know that their head coach, Mike Vrabel, he was very upset when someone kind of suggested in a media session that maybe they should rest their guys or not worry about it. He said, I hate effing losing. I don't want to lose. So he's going to have the team ready to go, but the Jaguars need this win. And the Steelers, as a Steeler fan, need them to lose to get into the playoffs if they can beat Baltimore on Saturday. Nonetheless, Jaguars -5.5. You say take the Jags, who I'm not even sure if Trevor Lawrence will be back in the lineup, but they won without him last week, going to Carolina and getting the shutout. What are your thoughts?
Well, I read today Trevor's practicing. He's a
Okay.
limited participant, so it appears he is going to suit up and play. After he did the Dazed and Confused movie as a kid, maybe he had some of that, the devil's lettuce is a healing power, they say, Jeff. So maybe he had some. I don't know what happened. So I think he's playing. He's a great coach. My only worry about this game is Vrabel. Vrabel is a Belichick Patriot winner.
Yes.
That guy's an animal. I love that coach. Having said that, I don't know. Risking Derrick Henry, risking some of these guys. He's a player's coach too. In a situation where that game doesn't matter, I'd be suspicious that these guys are going to be playing it like a normal game. Tannehill, benched, guy's older. How much juice is left in his tank? And the line's telling us something. That line's already up to 5.5. It opened at 3.5. I think Vegas knows that the Jags have a lot more to play for. They're coming in better form. We talked about last week. Jaguars are hot. The defense is rolling again like they were in the beginning of the season. And Tennessee's looked awful. I mean, Tennessee needs a reboot. So I like this play a lot. I like the coach, quarterback, if he can, manage the game and not turn the ball over. I think this could be a solid win for Jaguars, just like they started the year. I think they're getting back on path with that as long as we get that quarterback play.
Okay, so Jags -5.5. Trevor Lawrence has been turnover prone this season. We'll see if that plays out. Let's go to the next game. Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Is it in Indianapolis? And this is a game where the Jags, Texans, and Colts are all tied at 9-7 for that AFC South. The Texans are giving 1 point on the road. You like CJ Stroud and the Texans to go in there and get the win.
Well, I mean, you look at the matchup with quarterback, Jeff, and we've talked about all year. It's a quarterback league now. CJ Stroud, 21 touchdowns to 5 picks. You got Gardner Minshew, 15 touchdowns to 9 picks. That's a huge advantage for Houston. You look at the numbers behind the teams. Houston coming in, 4th-ranked passing offense in the league, going up against the 16th passing defense in the league. I mean, there are a lot of numbers that support that this is a Houston game. Laying a point on the road, I actually think that's a bit of a discount. I think there's question marks about how healthy Stroud is. He looked good last week, but he didn't run the ball, and I think they're being cautious with him. And he is a rookie, but I like his composure. I like everything about that guy. Other stat that I like big about Houston, 3rd-ranked rushing defense in the league. They're holding teams to under 100 yards rushing a game. You make Gardner Minshew a one-dimensional guy, having to throw the ball. I think it's turnover city for the Colts, and I think we're going to see Houston coming out and C.J. Stroud, rookie, leading them into the playoffs.
It's going to be a good game to watch. Should be a lot of fun. And the third game, and this is another game Pittsburgh Steelers fans are going to be watching closely because if the Jacksonville, Tennessee game doesn't play out the way they want, the Miami Dolphins beating the Buffalo Bills, if the Steelers beat the Ravens, would get them in the playoffs. This could be another game. This is Sunday Night Football. Bills are giving 3 on the road at a banged-up Miami. They're without Chubb, the defensive back, or not defensive back, the defensive lineman, a pass rusher. 2 is banged up. You say take the Bills -3 at Miami.
I mean, they're hurting on running back big time. Ahmed's out. Mostert might not play. It doesn't look like he's going to. So that number 1 Russian team in the league is coming in limping. Tua is going to have to take the game on his shoulders. And, we've been talking about, taking some English soccer lines here. How are they coming in? What form are they in? Miami is not in good form coming into this game. I think Miami's a little bit cautious about how they're going to, go into the playoffs. They're already locked into a position. So maybe this is a game where they're coming in, they're exhaling a little bit. Buffalo, a lot of heart on that team. We've seen it the last 2 years. Josh Allen's been an animal. I mean, that guy's probably 1-2 quarterback in the league right now. He's taking that team on his shoulders. Midseason started running the ball. I love the way they're playing. What are they, 4 straight wins? They've beaten the Patriots, Chargers, Cowboys, Chiefs. That's a solid showing when the pressure was on. Miami, I mean, they got exposed last week. The Ravens just dismantled that team. I love Buffalo in this situation. I love Josh Allen, and I love the character behind that team. A lot of good veterans, a lot of good players that are going to be playing big. And I think Miami's happy to be there, happy maybe to kind of exhale and kind of reboot a little bit, as long as they can keep Tyreek in check. I mean, that guy's an animal. I mean,
Yep.
that guy can blow a game away in 2 plays. So we got to take the prime time, Jeff. You know, we pose ourselves as the prime time pickers in America right here. We got the Saturday night game, we got the Sunday night game, and I like both of them big time.
Well, and the funny thing is that this is why the NFL does what they do in Week 18 with all these division rivalries and these division matchups. Is that even though Miami might be banged up, they don't want Buffalo in the postseason. They're going to be playing tough. Buffalo's got to get that win. It makes for intrigue, and that's what the NFL wants. They want intrigue, so it's going to be interesting. Let's run down these picks one last time for you. The college national championship, you've got the Washington Huskies plus 4.5 against the Michigan Wolverines. In the NFL Week 18, the Texans -1 at the Colts, take the Texans. Jaguars -5.5 on the road against the Titans, take the Jags. And lastly, the Bills on Sunday Night Football -3 at the Dolphins, take the Bills. So there you go. We have any bonus plays this week? You playing the golf tournament down there in Hawaii?
Not playing that golf tournament, but I love watching that, Jeff. We got primetime golf.
Yeah.
You never. I don't like betting anything in Hawaii. I mean, I've never been to Hawaii, but I watch that tournament every year. You can watch whales swimming in the ocean while you're playing golf. I don't know how anybody's even hitting the ball there. I think Morikawa might be a decent play. The guy blew that tournament last year, and it's his family's kind of hometown, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to enjoy watching it. I do have a great bonus play. I think you're going to like this one, Jeff. I got I'm big in the golf caddy community here down there at the Jersey Shore. I got
Okay.
Fast Eddie Felson, famous South Jersey caddy at some of our most private and the glorious clubs down here. Former beer league semi-professional hockey player out of Saskatchewan. Tells me that the World Junior U20 Men's Championship is going on this weekend. America cleared into the semifinals against Finland. He tells me that the rink is bigger over there in Europe for these junior championships. I don't know what the hell that means, Jeff. I thought hockey rinks were standard. Apparently they're
No, they're
not.
not. No.
We're going to go with Sweden plus 190 to win the championship. He's got an inside that their goalie is much better on bigger hockey rinks, and that the American team's a little soft. We're a little fancy. We do some pirouettes, or we do some maybe some stick tricks or something. He compared it to young blood. You know
Oh yeah.
that
Rob Lowe.
America's a little bit more young blood than Recchi. You know, remember Recchi killed Patrick Swayze in that movie, I believe. So we're gonna go with Finland and the bigger rink and I don't know, is it a bigger goal? I don't know, Jeff. I don't know. I
No, the
played street
goal's the
hockey.
same. It's
Okay.
just a bigger ice surface. So that you have Finland plus what?
Finland plus 190 to win the U20 Junior Championships. Apparently, you can catch it on some formats. I didn't know
Huh.
what was going on, but Fast Eddie Felson and the caddies out there have been big supporters of Pez's picks, and they've won some extra cash because caddying the Jersey in the winter, they're collecting unemployment checks, I think, or something. I don't know what the hell they're doing. So
There you
shout
go.
out to Fast Eddie Felson. He's been waiting for hockey picks all year. I told him we might get to that after football, and we'll start seeing maybe Eric Lindros will lead the Flyers back to the Stanley Cup or something. We'll see.
Eric Lindros. That's hysterical. Okay. So Pez, final thoughts here, or any messages to the Michigan fan base that is just waiting to just rip you to shreds in comment sections?
We'll see if they're for real Monday night, Jeff. They're playing a man. They're playing the best quarterback in the league. I think a creative coach. They're going to watch that second half. In the second half, Alabama owned that team. Alabama crushed themselves, a sack, a penalty. They could have lit them up for 3 touchdowns, and they should have in that second half. I think they caught Saban on camera. One of the commentators even said, we're beating ourselves. And they were. They had that team on their heels. I think Washington's going to watch that tape, and they have. Penix, he's a coach on the field. I'll be very interested to see if Michigan can handle a pro offense because I don't think they faced one yet this year. Ohio State, that quarterback's a bum. Great receiver, but you got to have a guy that can throw the ball. Mike Penix Jr. can throw that thing. He can run it. I love Washington, and I hope those Michigan fans, I hope they see this. I hope they got a lot to say. I'll be wearing purple Monday night, Jeff.
All right. I love
And
it. I love it.
in my world, a husky eats a wolverine, Jeff. I don't even know what the hell a wolverine looks like. I don't even know if that's a real animal anymore. But huskies fighting packs. Wolverines, they're selfish people. That's like Harbaugh. game for Harbaugh, kicking them out of the NCAA. Huskies win this ring, and they're going to bring the NCAA back to glory here.
All right. Sounds good. Pez, as always, it's been fun. We'll talk next week. Well, hopefully these picks pan out. Take it easy.
Let's do it, Jeff. See you.